Hey everyone, Pinoy X here once again, and today we're going to continue a mini-series that I started before the release of Sunbreak, which is observing potential inspirations Capcom may have used in order to create or bring back certain monsters within the Sunbreak expansion. Now, this is going to continue from where we left off, which means that we're going to take a look at monsters that I haven't observed as of yet. And the first one we're going to take a look at, because this is actually the first creature we fight within the Sunbreak expansion, is going to be the Daimyo Hermitaur. Now, with regards to the Daimyo Hermitaur, the first piece of potential inspiration we're gonna look at is one that Capcom may have used long before Sunbreak even became a thing, because this seems to be a running theme with all of the crab monsters in the mainline games: Daimyo Hermitaur, Shogun Seregios, and Shengao Ren. And this is the mythology behind the real-life crabs known as the Rakna-Kadaki. According to Japanese folklore and mythology, many people believe that the Rakna-Kadaki crab has a unique shell that looks like an angry face, because these are actually the souls of Heike warriors or samurais reborn into crabs in modern day. And this is very interesting because this is something Capcom used in order to create all of the crab monsters we're familiar with within the mainline titles. Daimyo Hermitaur is the Monoblos reborn as a crab. Same thing goes for Shogun Seregios being the Gravios, and Shengao Ren is the Laoshan Long. So this may well be the main focus that Capcom went with when they brought back both the Daimyo Hermitaur and the Shogun Seregios within Sunbreak. So this could be a shared inspiration between the two crab monsters. With that said though, if we're only focusing on the individual monster, then perhaps the Daimyo Hermitaur may be partially inspired by the mythology of Cancer. In Greek mythology, Cancer is known for interfering in the fight between the Lernaean Hydra and Heracles during Heracles' 12 labors. So this could be one of the main inspirations Capcom used to bring back the monster in Sunbreak. Another potential inspiration Capcom may have used, but this time based on the defensive capabilities of the Daimyo Hermitaur, is the Aegis, again originating from Greek mythos. Now the reason I say this is because one of the side quests you have to do in Sunbreak is take a photo of the Daimyo Hermitaur defending itself with its giant claws. So Capcom were mostly focusing on its defensive capabilities. So perhaps the Aegis could be another inspiration based on the monster's abilities. Alongside this, the Aegis is usually designed with a Gorgon head on it, very reminiscent to how a Monoblo skull is usually depicted on the Daimyo Hermitaur. Another inspiration we can add into the mix with regards to the Daimyo Hermitaur is the yokai known as the Gashadokuro. This yokai takes on the form of a giant skeleton and is believed to be the spirit of people who have died on the battlefield. With the Gashadokuro usually being portrayed with a giant skull, this could be another reference Capcom were going for with the giant Monoblo skull when they brought back the Shelled Sovereign in Sunbreak. Moving on, we have the Espinas, a frontier monster making its mainline debut in Sunbreak. Originally, I focused on this monster's behavior of sleeping at the beginning of a hunt and then becoming extremely reckless when woken up, and looked for folklore and mythos based around the flying wyvern's behavior. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find anything similar in terms of mythos to the way the monster behaves. If you know any kind of mythos or folklore that could match the behavior of the Espinas, let us know in the comments below what they are. So, instead of focusing on behavior, I focus on the creature's powers and characteristics as a flying wyvern. Espinas is well known for its poisonous flame breath with paralysis thrown into it, along with its ability to poison hunters through physical attacks. These are abilities the Espinas shares with the mythical beast known as the cockatrice. Both the Espinas and the cockatrice are capable of stopping their targets dead on their tracks, with the Espinas using paralysis and the cockatrice using petrification. Both creatures also exhibit a combination of venomous and flammable abilities, with the Espinas combining both along with its paralysis into a single breath attack. Finally, both beasts are lethal to the touch. Any physical contact with the Espinas thorns results in being poisoned, whereas contact with a cockatrice could result in instant death. Another creature that is synonymous with the cockatrice that could be an inspiration for the Espinas is the basilisk, which shares many of its traits with the cockatrice except for its physical appearance. Overall, these creatures are most likely what inspired the return of the Espinas within the Sunbreak expansion due to the myriad of similarities that they share with the flying wyvern. And finally, we have the Pyre Rakna-Kadaki, a newly introduced subspecies within the expansion. The Pyre Rakna-Kadaki's design shares the same inspiration as its regular counterpart, with the Temnoceran heavily referencing the spider yokais, the Jorogumo, and Tsuchigumo. Unlike the regular species, however, which took on equal inspirations from both the spider yokais, the Pyre Rakna-Kadaki heavily leans more towards the Jorogumo due to its advanced control over its offspring, the Pyrantulas. Reminiscent of the Jorogumo's control over their fire-breathing spiders through the use of their web, the Parching Puppeteer freely commands the juvenile Temnocerans through its web, expertly manipulating its young and utilizing the flammable properties of its web to create a chain of explosion not seen with the standard monster. Interestingly enough, outside of the yokai inspiration, it's also possible that Capcom may have been partially inspired by a different source material when designing the Pyre Rakna-Kadaki with a crimson-red color scheme in mind. It's possible that with the white motif of the original monster, Capcom may have designed the subspecies with a red motif to act as a counterpart to the regular monster. This could be a play on two characters, the Red Queen and the White Queen, from the novel Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll. However, this could also be coincidental since the color red is very common when looking into monsters with fire capabilities. With that said though, with both creatures being deemed as queens and matching the same color motifs as the two characters, and even being the same species reminiscent of how the Red Queen and the White Queen are both chess pieces, it wouldn't be surprising if this was indeed another potential inspiration Capcom went for when creating the subspecies for Sunbreak. And now for today's monster inspiration revisited. Today, we're once again looking into the Seregios. Previously, we looked into this monster being possibly inspired by the creature known as the Roc, a legendary bird of prey found in Middle Eastern mythology. This is due to the Seregios' abilities of swooping down on its target with great speed and attacking them with its powerful legs and talons, similar in nature to the Roc. With that said though, the nature of Seregios' blade scales are inspired by a different type of mythological avian, the Stymphalian birds. These birds of Greek origin are known for attacking their prey with their bronze beak, but most importantly, they use their metallic feathers as projectiles, similar in fashion to the Seregios' blade scales. Overall, the Seregios is likely a fusion of both birds of prey, borrowing elements from each creature in order to hone its aggressive battle prowess. And that, everyone, is 3 monsters introduced within the Sunbreak expansion and what potential folklore or mythology Capcom may have used as inspiration in order to create these creatures or bring them back. If you have any other ideas as to what kind of mythos Capcom may have looked into in order to create or bring back these monsters, let us know in the comments below what you think they are. And as always, with all of that being said, if you enjoyed these videos, please consider hitting the like on the video itself and subscribing to the channel, as well as hitting that bell icon so you can go ahead and catch up on any other content that I might be doing in future. Until then, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks ever so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Onward and upward.